People have a love-hate relationship with tomatoes. They either love them or they hate them. If you love them, you have to figure out what you want in the garden.
There's lots of different choices to choose from too, so you kind of have to know what you want to do with those. Are you going to cook them? Are you going to can them? You can make some salsa? You're going to slice them up for your BLT? Or are you just going to go out and pick those cherry tomatoes every night for your garden salad?
Once you've decided what you actually want your tomatoes to do for you, then you have to figure out how much room you have. You can plant them in the garden, all sorts of space. You can put them in containers. They look pretty cool in the garden, some of them, if they are a bush type or one of the ones that tumbles and comes rolling down the sides of the container in the garden, making your container an edible product and the garden itself.
There's also two different kinds that will come to ripen at two different times. There's the determinate and the indeterminate. Determinate grow to a specific size, then they set their fruit. So if you're looking at cooking them in a sauce or a salsa, that might actually be the way to go because all your fruit's going to ripen at about the same time. If you're looking at the indeterminate, those are going to be those big, tall, viney ones. They're going to keep producing fruit all summer long, and you're going to have tomatoes continuously throughout the season.
So then once you've decided what you like, you have to figure out the flavor you want. Some of the tomatoes have now been bred for uniformity, and they may not have the flavor of the old-fashioned heirloom types. If you want heirloom tomatoes, you're going to be looking at a slightly different type of a tomato. They still have all that wonderful flavor, but they are pretty ugly plants, very little, if any, disease resistance. They also don't produce a whole lot of fruits, and those fruits are very, very fragile. So they're not going to probably be your primary crop of tomatoes in the garden.
One thing to also look at is the new hybrids are bred with disease resistance. That information is all going to be on the tag, so look to see what disease resistance is bred into those tomatoes that you're purchasing.
One of the things you also then have to figure out, and this is on the tag, is how long it is going to be before those tomatoes ripen. That will be information that lets you know whether you have a long season or a short season. It lets you get the jump on your neighbors. You also have to then think about what size you're going to buy.
You can buy a 4-pack if you're gonna want all the same plant. You're gonna buy a single pack if you want multiple different kinds of tomatoes. Or if you want to beat that neighbor, go find a big one that the nursery's already started for you.
Make sure you also know that tomatoes absolutely don't like the cold. They love this 90-degree heat, they like warm soil temperatures, and they really do the best in full sun. They'll grow like a weed. You probably are going to have to stake the big ones, so these are not actually a set it and forget it kind of a plant, but they really are a great amount of bounty for a very little amount of work.